we have the interface in the rotor without any effect. If you don't want to use the ACL for kind of changing the ACL or some other things, you need to first disable or remove the ACL from the interface, okay? Because of that, now if you check the connectivity from computer 1, look at here, we will have connectivity now because we don't have any ACL on the interface, and also from computer 2 and computer 3. Okay, let me to remove the ACL with no access list 1. Okay, now we don't have any ACL. Do show access list. Okay, and again configuring the ACL. ACL 1 permit or deny the same ACL 192.168.110, or if you want, you can configure host 192.168.110. Okay, and then you can configure access list 1 remark, and if you want, you can write a remark. This is the computer of the person 1. Okay, and then again access list 1 permit the host 192.168.111. Why? Access list 1 remark, okay, this is for the bus. Okay, this is the computer of the bus. After that, again access list 1 other rules. Show IP access list. Look at here you have again the same ACL, but in the running config, when you are verifying the ACL, now as you can see, we have this information. We can understand why we have configured the access list 1 here. As you can see, the order is not okay. This is the bug of iOS. Actually, you can see the orders for example, with the same order of the configuration. It is not important, but if you want, you can use remarks for verifying the result of the ACL show IP access list. Here we cannot see the remarks, but in the show running config you can see the remark. The remark doesn't have any effect, functional effect. This is only for information. Or if you want, you can configure one remark for all of the ACL function. Interface facet and 00 IP access list access group 1 in. Again, if you try from computer 1, you can see that we don't have connectivity. From the computer 2 we have connectivity, and from computer 3 implicitly again we don't have connectivity. Okay, this is a simple access list or simple standard ACL. In a standard ACL we don't have many options. We have only options about the source IP, but in extended ACL we have many options for configuring the condition according source IP, destination IP, or port or protocol, source port, destination port, and also a protocol. All right, let me to review some of the topics about the ACL or access control list. After that, we can configure the next scenario. In this picture, you can see we have a router, and here we have the net A, and in this net A, in this network, we have 5 PC, PC1, PC2, PC3, PC4, and PC5. And this is our access list. As you can see, in this access list, we have 5 access control entry, or simply you can say ACL statements. Okay, we have 5 ACL statements or 5 access control entries. Okay, and here I am going to talk about that what is happening for the traffic receiving from the PC1, PC2, PC3, and PC5 on the interface of router according to this ACL. Okay, let me to talk about that. First, the traffic of PC1. As you can see here, we have a rule in the first line for PC1 traffic. As you can see, if a traffic receiving for PC1, this traffic should be permitted, and you know that after matching with the one line, we don't for example look up again in the other lines. The first line is the for example better line and a more preferred line, and we are using it. Because of that, as you can see, finally the PC1 the PC1 traffic is permitted from the router. The next traffic is receiving from the PC2. Here you can see this traffic receiving from the PC2 in the interface of R or router, okay, cannot be matched with the first line with this line. Because of that, we don't have any for example, way to accept to go to the next rule. In the next rule, we have a match. PC2 should deny. Because of that, now this rule can match with this traffic, and as you can see, the PC2 traffic, the PC2's traffic is discarding, and this means that we don't forward the traffic of PC2 from the router. After that, assume that we are receiving one traffic from the PC3. Here again, in the first line we don't have any match, in the second line we don't have any match, but in the third line we have match, and as you can see, the action is permit. Because of that, the PC3's traffic is forwarding from the interface of router, and this means that we are permitting the traffic. After that, the next traffic is receiving from the PC4. In the first line we don't have any match, in the second line we don't have any match, in the third line we don't have any match, but in the fourth line we have match. PC4 should be deny, and because of that, as you can see, the PC4 traffic is denying. After that, we have PC5. The traffic received from the PC5 should not match, cannot match with the first line, second line, third line, fourth line, but it can match with the condition if the traffic received from net H, you should deny it. Because of that, the traffic of PC1, as you can see, is denying. And also, if the traffic is receiving from any other IP address that does not match with these 5 conditions, for example, net B, implicitly this traffic should be denied with the implicit deny any on the last line of the ACL. You have learned about them, but here only we are reviewing the topics about the ACL or access control list. Also, we have talked about the ACL types. We have 2 types of ACL, a standard ACL and also extended ACL. And you know that in a standard ACL, we have control in the source IP of the packets, and in the extended ACL, we have control on the source IP, destination IP, protocol, source port, and also destination port. In this video, we are talking about only the standard ACL, but in the next video, I will talk about the extended ACL. But you know that the extended and standard ACLs have the same fundamental, but we have different criteria for matching condition. Okay, and for example, in the extended ACL, we can define some conditions, some rules related to source IP, destination IP, protocol, source, and also a destination port. Here you can see one standard ACL configuration. The command for configuration of the standard ACL is the access list, then number from 1 to 99, or 1300 from the 1999. Then you can use the source IP and also the wildcard mask. The default wildcard mask is quad 0, and because of that, when you want to select exactly one IP address, you don't need to configure the wildcard mask. But when we want to select one range of network, we can use the wildcard mask. After that, access list, again with the same number, we can configure remark. For example, here we need to forward to permit the traffic of receiving from the 192.168.110, denying the traffic from the 192.168.111, permitting the traffic receiving from 192.168.112, this is the source IP, and then denying the traffic receiving from the 192.168.113, and finally we should permit the traffic receiving from the 192.168.210. This is the configuration of the ACL. Access list 1 permit 192.168.110. We can configure one remark, for example, for understanding what is the function of this ACL. You know that the remark itself doesn't have any effect in the from the functional view. Access list 1 remark bus PC, and then access list 1 deny host 192.168.111. You know that in the old versions of the iOS, this is that was mandatory that you should configure the host, but in the newer version we can omit the host, and you know that the wildcard mask, default wildcard mask, is quad 0, and this is the remark access list 1 remark John PC, for example. Access list 1 permit 192.168.112, and access list 1 remark LMPC, for example. Access list 1 permit 192.168.20 with the wildcard of the 000255. This for example, ACE permits all of the IP address in the range of 192.168.2 without, for example, noticing to the last octet. Because of that, this source IP is permitting. And then access is one remark partner net. This is a for example remark. Because of that, now we can easily configure the ACL, but you know that after